Welcome to Typebook. We are Chris and Rose, INTJ and INFJ, and we are cataloging a variety of people based on their Jungian psychological types and their MBTI four-letter abbreviations. Today, Chris is very excited because we are taking a look at Julian Assange.
Yes. One of my boys. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Before we even start, I had to laugh because when we were previewing videos, I was looking at him, listening to the interviewer, and he just had this look on his face, and it's the slow blinking. It's just so much like you.
Yeah, hopefully you'll see like the strangeness of what an INTJ really is like.
Yes, the
Because
real ones.
we are strange. And
Yes.
you can't mistake us. We are distinctive.
We take the high road a lot when it comes to a lot of channels out there, but there are so many channels out there right now that are claiming to be INTJ male, and they do not have the strangeness.
No.
And that's a dead giveaway that they're not INTJs.
Basically, they think they're thinkers or manifest like thinkers, and yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, but anyway. This is a real one. And you can see, like you said, the strangeness. It's just all over him.
Okay.
It's all over you too, Chris.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
We've seen a lot of different faces of Julian Assange in the last 6 months, but the suit and the short haircut is new. Is this a new image, or is it courtroom Assange?
Well, it's when you're in this business, people will try and take any point they can to malign you and stop the power of your publication. And so that's, I guess, the same reasons why politicians dress so conservatively when they're under constant attack. And so that's something that I have to do in order to keep the focus on our material and keep the focus off me.
Well, it's been an uphill battle.
Okay, stop. So he even speaks like I do. Like bland and like monotone, and well, I have to dress like this because...
Yes.
I mean, what did he think he was going to say? Well, I love the attention, I love fashion. No, it's very like no, this is practical. I have to dress like this, otherwise they pick on me. Okay.
Yeah, it's not entertaining by any stretch of the imagination, that's for sure.
No. Sorry, guys. Wait, me or him?
Well, you can be entertaining, but not when you want to be serious. And this is obviously a serious interview.
I think we can be entertaining.
Okay, let's move on. 3, 2, 1.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Off you, has it surprised you, the intensity of attention upon you?
I don't think it's surprised me. If you look at all, if you think about the situation carefully, I suppose that's inevitable. That someone who's associated with a new endeavour that is very controversial and has a lot of very powerful enemies will be the subject of ad hominem attacks on the person if they can't get an attack on the content. That's standard fare. Of course, it's a new situation for me personally. I'm used to some...
You've been pretty much a secretive, or certainly a private guy all your life.
Not entirely, but...
Okay, let's stop again.
I have been part...
I think people seem to think that we, as an INTJ, you must be like so far ahead of everyone, because that's what the stereotype says. So like, we must speak really, really fast, and use like all these fancy words, whatever like most people deem to be like super hyper intelligent and are far ahead of everyone else. But that's not really what we're like. We're much more slower, deliberate, quiet. We can speak faster, but we certainly wouldn't in this kind of situation. Like, we'd choose our words carefully, and we'd be more like an ISFJ male would be like. They're slower and deliberate in a different fashion, more like a try not to offend people kind of way, I think. And we are, in terms of expressing our ideas. What do they...
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Didn't we look and it was like ENFP or something?
Yeah, ENFP.
Yeah. What's the matter with people?
I don't know. Let's keep going.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Other causes in the past, but certainly the level of scrutiny and the level of attacks on my person is like nothing else I've experienced. Possibly, with some exceptions, like nothing else anyone in Australia has experienced. Maybe
Okay, stop.
Chamberlain is...
What is it with us, right? And like vocal fry. We all seem to
Yes.
do this. We're very introverted and we don't tend to express, like speak louder. We speak quite quietly. I think that's probably more likely to have that vocal effect, isn't it?
I've noticed I do a similar thing because when I'm really trying to think hard about what I'm saying, I end up being very monotone as well because I stop. I'm thinking so hard that I can't be trying to also use inflection and things in my speech. So I think that, it's the similar for both of our types, the INFJ and the INTJ in this way. Because I know I've heard INFJs get accused of being monotone as well, but it's for a different reason. I think it's just because we're thinking so hard about what we're saying.
I don't think we would like to be particularly expressive and what I would deem to be emotive as well.
Yes. It's like I said, it's the same result, but it comes from a different place. I mean, I think we would like to be. I do like to be expressive and inflective, but I can't do it when I'm thinking out loud. It's very difficult for me, which is why on my other channel, I usually script stuff because I would like to read things from that kind of warm place and all. It's not like I'm not warm, but it gives me more options because I don't have to think so hard when I'm reading. But for the INTJ, it's not the case. You're just not aware, and it's not as important to you.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, for the most part, INTJs are very monotone.
Yeah, and vocal
And there's
fry
just a
all the
complete lack of drama in the speech. And if you listen to a lot of these ISFPs out there who are saying they're INTJs, there's so much drama. They might come across as a bit monotone, but the drama is just, their speech is laden with it.
Yes.
You just don't get this with the INTJ.
No, we don't have much patience for drama, really.
No.
To be honest. We can be, but when we get dramatic, it's when, like, we're trying to be...
It's more of a moment of entertainment for yourself, really, I think.
Oh, there's that, and there's, like, if we want to be, like, heroic or something, or, like, go and sort someone out, like, in that kind of, like, you've done something wrong, then we can be quite dramatic, but...
Yes, but in your everyday life, most of the time, you're not going to see that.
And you might see it with Julian Assange, because, he's doing, like, a very heroic thing, really, with what he does.
Right.
So the stakes kind of are high for him, So you might see, like, low-key drama. He knows the stakes, kind of, so he's very serious in it. That's the drama, in a way. It's not like ISFP out there drama, where they're, like, getting excited by, that kind of thing. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's not every day we get to type an INTJ. So like this video, please. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Probably had a similar level attacks against her person.
Well, it's been a pretty steep learning curve, I guess, in the last few months. Any regrets on how you've handled that journey?
Not regrets, but lessons to be learnt is the way I like to put it. We are all limited by our resources and time and so on, and these can't come from nowhere, and you're constrained by them. But from that experience, certainly I've learnt a lot about how to deal with some of those attacks that we get.
Well, you would have expected some of the attacks clearly from governments or other people that are subjected to WikiLeaks material. But you've also had a steady barrage of friendly fire from people that have been friends or associates or professional collaborators. It's been almost endless. Has that surprised you? There's only been one friend and associate. There's been other associates from the newspapers. It is actually quite interesting. We saw even early on that there were some people who perceive themselves to be competitors within our field of play. And a lot of that is who is going to be represented as the vanguard of liberalism, who is going to be seen to be the shining light in that region. Is it the Guardian newspaper? Is it the New York Times within the United States? And then at a sort of government accountability level, there's also other smaller groups like Secrecy Newsletter. No one's ever really heard of it, but within that area, it's one of the few groups operating. Cryptome is another small site, but nonetheless operating in that area. And actually that's where we had the first continuous attacks from. It's quite interesting that although people can claim to hold certain values as the number one motivator in their life,
isn't it?
when you look at the actual behaviour, what you see is that the number one motivator tends to be keeping their power within their perceived community, and threats to power within their perceived community.
Yeah. Humans. That's so true. Sorry, I had to stop there because, I don't know, that's just an INTJ thing. I feel like we notice this about people. Because I don't think we're motivated in the same ways, you know? I always remember, just being disappointed in people.
Yeah.
I think we're born quite naive in this way. So we think, oh yeah, this guy's on our side. And then you're like, huh? What are you doing? You stabbed me in the back. Right? And you realise that people are flawed, essentially. And that what they say isn't what they mean. And, people are selfish. Whereas I'm certain that Julian Assange does what he does because he believes in something. It's calculated, based on his belief.
I do want to revisit something I said earlier about the INTJ, just kind of teasing about not being entertaining. But we've definitely seen the entertaining side of the INTJ with PewDiePie.
Yeah, I'm like
And we did
PewDiePie,
speak
but like off camera.
exactly. PewDiePie has chosen to put that side of himself in front of millions of people.
Mhm.
Again, because he started it young. And I don't know that there was any deliberation in it. I think for him, he said it himself. He just started playing video games and he realized people liked his crazy responses as he was playing. And so he decided to make something out of that.
Yes. I would imagine he probably mostly did it for his own amusement.
Yes.
I certainly have made comedy videos just
Yes.
And just to laugh at myself. I find myself hilarious.
Yes, I can
I think
verify.
we all do.
But as a byproduct, he found that people thought it was funny. And so that's kind of how he got started. But even now, if you look, we've said this, he's probably more and more getting away from that. And yeah. So it's not like INTJs can't be entertaining. Obviously, he's entertained millions of people
Yeah,
who
just
like what he
being
does. Yeah.
random, and
Mhm.
I am the same, really. I don't do it much on here. But,
No. Well, this isn't the place for it, though, is it? I mean, we're not looking to be entertaining. We've said this a million times.
no. I mean, I have sort of like let myself go a little bit.
Yeah, we can be. Right.
But,
You can be.
have a bit more of a laugh or whatever, but generally it's in private life that I am like PewDiePie.
Yes.
And then in public I'm like Julian Assange.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Are seen as threats and dealt with accordingly.
I'd like to get back to that, but just before we move on, one question I haven't asked you is the current extradition hearings. I know we're yet to hear the final witnesses, but what's been your experience so far? How do you think it's going?
I think a lot has come out into the public domain that wasn't there previously.
That's been a sense of relief to you. You said
that's a sense of relief to me. I mean, because it's an ongoing legal process, it's not something that I can talk about the facts of the matter, and that. Yet at the same time, we have seen other parties, Swedish government, and uncertain individuals.
They're leaking, ironically enough. They're leaking.
They're violating their own laws and feeding out selective bits of the material and selective allegations to the media, where we cannot do that if we are to follow the practice and the law. And that's something that's been very difficult. So it is a relief to finally now have a court process where some of this material is coming up. Most isn't, because
it's not relevant to an extradition as such.
Well, European extradition hearings and the treaties that the United Kingdom has with the rest of Europe, incidentally also with the United States, are such that they do not depend on the evidence at all, or even the complaint in
they're
detail.
Almost pro forma.
They're pro forma. They are forms. It is literally ticker box justice.
And whether that's been properly conducted. But if you were to win this case, it would be a...
I mean, all I would say is, find me someone like Julian Assange. You know, you can't just take the stereotype INTJ, find someone who's brilliant and quick thinking, and say, well, that must be INTJ. That's what people do. But there's no one else like this. Find someone else.
Mastermind.
No one holds themselves.
Master businessman.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Married to his work, right? Whatever you want to.
But that's not what an INTJ is. We're not sensors, and most things are sensory. This is an intuitive. He's different. No one holds himself like Julian Assange. People don't speak like Julian Assange. You know, they don't come up with the ideas that Julian Assange comes up with. He's different. No one's like him. He stands out. He's odd. That's what we're like. So people need to really trim back what their idea of INTJ actually is. We don't like being in the spotlight. You probably will not find us. We're very difficult to come across.
Yeah, PewDiePie's an oddball. But again, it's because he fell into it so young and it was able to make a living out of it. Yeah,
and I don't know. There is a certain thinkerless quality to being comedic, for sure. I mean, if people could see me what I'm like in private, then they'd understand that, like, they'd see like the PewDiePie.
Right, and vice versa. I think if people could see PewDiePie in private, I mean, we've seen this online. I mean, when we did I think used one of the videos, but there's that video with his friend. He's very awkward. He's very much like this guy.
Yeah, awkward, very
Yes.
understated, speaks quietly, very responsive in their ideas and what they think, but very, quiet, really. Quiet and awkward. And we just like sit in a certain way, and we just seem weird and awkward, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right, to most of the world. That's exactly right. I think people who meet an INTJ probably do come to the conclusion that that this person's a little strange. You said it before, odd, not real, whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Peart, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
we did type him, you can check out that video. Neil Peart didn't accept interviews very much. He did with one that he thought he would get along with. He did pretty well. He tried really hard. He came across fairly normal, but he's still got a reputation for being like, he never showed up to fan interviews. It was just the other two. He didn't want to be there. He got a reputation for being aloof and funny, and he, just doesn't want to do it. Like, this is what we're like. We are strange. We're different. People don't understand us. And people certainly can't type us very well either.
I think it's because they don't see it very often.
No.
So
I've never seen one for real that I've confirmed. Like, yeah. I mean, for a long time I wondered whether, like, I was just like a one-off, like that no one else was like me.
I have, but I think it's because I've had the fortunate of having one born into my family, right? So I have the nephew. But then I think it's because in my life's pursuits, I have been involved in some kind of things that would probably be more attractive to INTJs. So,
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so we don't have very many INTJs in our playlist because, as we've said, they're very hard to find in the public sphere. And so if you really want to understand or know what an INTJ looks like, then take the ones that we've typed. This one, PewDiePie off camera, but when he's not trying to be entertaining. Neil Peart, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, what do they all have in
Cillian
common?
Murphy. Exactly. Study them. Look at other interviews. Watch how they conduct themselves. Watch
They're all
the
awkward.
blank look on their face. Yes.
They all
Watch how
absolutely run away from public life if they can. Cillian,
Yes.
check. Neil Peart, check. Assange, basically. PewDiePie, they don't like attention, really.
And then take all that information and then go look on YouTube at these people who are claiming to be INTJs and see how it just doesn't match up. Yeah, so just look at what you see out there, what's being represented, misrepresented as an INTJ, and see the drama there, see the quick speaking, see the rants. It's just not what we're seeing here. And just those few individuals I just named. And that's not INTJ. To support our project, please comment, like, and subscribe. We want to encourage a dialogue in the comments, so substantiated disagreement is welcome. Check out the playlist for this type and our recommended video below. If there's someone you want us to type, please leave a comment for us. Or you can look into our fast track system to find out how you can get your favorite people typed sooner.